It was a quiet Wednesday morning in Robinson, Texas, November 9, 2005. Robinson was the kind of small town just south of Waco where neighbors waved from their porches and doors were rarely locked. But that morning, calm turned to chaos with one urgent 911 call. On the line was a woman, her voice trembling but clear, telling the dispatcher something terrible had happened inside her home. She didn't yet give every detail, but her tone said enough. Something was very, very wrong. That single call would crack open a case that would shake the community, devastate a family, and reveal a story that was as heartbreaking as it was shocking. This is the story of Darlene and Keith Gentry, a relationship that began with love and promise, but ended in loss and tragedy. Darlene's early life. Darlene Doskasile was born on November 2, 1974, in Central Texas. The middle of three daughters, she grew up in a tight-knit, loving home. Friends and family described her as magnetic, the kind of person who lit up a room without trying. She was disciplined, warm-hearted, and driven, with blonde hair, a bright smile, and a knack for making others feel seen. At school, she was everyone's favorite. She joined the Flag Corps, was voted prom queen, and earned the affectionate nickname, Texas Beauty Queen, despite never competing in pageants. Her popularity wasn't about looks alone. She had a genuine, approachable charm that made people gravitate toward her. After graduating from Yo High School in 1993, she enrolled at Texas State Technical College in Waco to train as a dental assistant, though she secretly dreamed of becoming a nurse. Keith's background. Around that same time, Keith Gentry was charting his own path. Born September 2, 1974, Keith grew up in Robinson, surrounded by family and a strong sense of community. He was dependable, steady, and not one for the spotlight, the kind of person who didn't make grand speeches but could always be counted on to help. After graduating from Robinson High, he attended the same technical college as Darlene, studying drafting and welding before landing a steady job as an engineering assistant at a utility company. Keith's quiet goal was simple: build a stable, comfortable life and provide for a future family. When their paths crossed when Darlene and Keith met at college, the chemistry was instant. Their personalities clicked, and soon their families were just as close as they were. Everyone assumed marriage was inevitable, until life threw them off course. By 1997, they had both graduated. But Keith wasn't ready for marriage, and Darlene was quietly hoping for a proposal. After some difficult talks, they decided to break up. Both were devastated. Darlene tried starting fresh in Dallas, but big city life didn't suit her. After a year, she returned home, and fate stepped in. She and Keith reconnected, and this time, neither hesitated. In 1999, Keith proposed, and not long after, they were married. A family life in Robinson. The couple settled into a modest, peaceful home, right next door to Keith's parents. Darlene returned to school for nursing, with Keith cheering her on. By 2001, their first son, Chase, was born. Two more sons, Cody and Cade, followed in 2004 and 2005. On the surface, life looked perfect: 3 healthy kids, a stable home, and 2 careers. But under the surface, small cracks were forming. Keith's job required frequent travel, leaving Darlene to manage the household alone. Eventually, he took a lower-paying desk job to be home more, but the loss of income created financial strain. Tensions grew, especially around spending habits. Arguments became more common, and friends noticed the once lively couple seemed more distant. Still, neither talked about divorce. The morning everything changed. At 6:11 a.m. on November 9, 2005, Darlene called 911. She told the dispatcher the back door was wide open and Keith was in bed, covered in blood, barely breathing. Some of his guns, she claimed, were missing. She explained that she had slept in another room with their youngest son, who'd been fussy that night, and only found Keith when she woke up. When paramedics arrived, Keith was alive but unresponsive. Shot in the head. The pink foam at his mouth suggested catastrophic brain injury. He was rushed to Hillcrest Baptist Medical Center, but 2 days later, he was pronounced dead. A story that didn't add up at first. Darlene said it was a burglary gone wrong. But investigators quickly spotted problems with her account. The timing didn't match medical evidence. Keith had likely been shot hours earlier. Some guns she claimed were stolen were found neatly placed outside, not something a panicked intruder would do. Only she and Keith had access to the locked gun cabinet. As a nurse, she had the skills to attempt life-saving aid, but she hadn't even tried CPR. Her calm, overly detailed 911 call also stood out. And when police pressed her in an interview, she stopped answering and asked for a lawyer. The breakthrough: a search of the home turned up latex gloves in the kitchen trash. Inside one glove was a .222 caliber shell casing with both Keith's and Darlene's DNA, along with gunshot residue. Then came the possible motive. Keith's life insurance policy, worth between $500,000 and $750,000. 19 days after the shooting, police arrested Darlene for murder. But her in-laws posted bail, firmly believing she was innocent. The pond: while out on bail, Darlene contacted a local landowner about buying property with a pond. Weeks later, she asked if the pond could be filled in. Suspicious, he contacted authorities, who searched the pond and found a .222 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Police staged a trap, pretending the pond needed to be drained before being filled. They watched as Darlene showed up in wading boots, poking the exact spot where the gun had been. Hidden cameras caught it all. Trial and sentence in February 2007. Darlene stood trial for first-degree murder. The prosecution leaned heavily on the pond footage, the staged burglary, and the gloves in the trash. Her defense called no witnesses. After just 5 days, the jury found her guilty. She was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Her earliest chance at parole is in 2037. In 2010, custody of her 3 sons was permanently given to Keith's parents. A restraining order prevents her from contacting them. Keith Gentry is remembered as a steady, devoted father who put his family first. His life was cut short, but his memory lives on in the hearts of his children and loved ones.